So let's see if they would help feed a
Wait, could you guys even hear the music? Oh yeah, of course, because people was reacting. I don't know what happened.
starving baby.
Of 42 churches, mosques, and temples
What about now?
contacted, only 9 offered immediate help. That's a 21% success rate, or 1 in 5. Unsurprisingly, some of the largest churches said that approval could take weeks, while a smaller church might offer assistance immediately, which is like, you know, the whole idea of going to your neighbor for sugar or whatever. And this very public test on TikTok is just more evidence of the systematic corruption and contradiction inside houses of worship, regardless of religion, that many have begun to perceive over the last 20, 30 years, or whatever. It's
talking about
quite a long time.
the mega churches scams, and he just he was referring to like the experiment where people go churches asking for baby formula and see how many actually help them,
And now,
and not many do. I think 1 out of 5 did.
American megachurches are accumulating staggering amounts of wealth with $100 million construction projects, once again, private jets, and pastor salaries in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Private jets. Next battle Sunday 7 p.m. I need to double check the times. Sunday though. Check my story. Imagine catching jets off the church money. That's
while only
crazy.
allocating 1 to 3% of their budget to actual
Golly.
charity, which is, I would say, completely unacceptable. I mean, we did a video, a rabbit hole, on the Church of Latter-day Saints, aka Mormons, and they do way more charitable work.
Yeah, 760 mil. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. I have a times 2 boxing glove that will come in handy, and Milo's got boxing glove too. I bet that's good. Appreciate it.
Just saying. Same with Catholics.
I'll share it
I know
to
a lot
you
of
guys
Protestants hate
anyway.
Catholics, all right, guys? Because they're weird. And they've got the Vatican. They've got a crystal skull, an alien skull in there, and that's really odd. But hey, man, it's
Wait, what? I
Vatican.
did not
They've got
know
a
this.
crystal
What are they doing with this?
skull, an alien skull.
Hmm.
There, and that's really odd. But hey, man, it's the most charitable
Okay.
organization that's ever existed in history.
Scientific man was not real. What?
Not that
Bro
one
said
is
I'm
necessarily
AI.
better than the other. They're all institutions run by people. People can be evil. For example, Donald Trump's previous spiritual advisor being indicted for
Basically, that was structures that are found in the Vatican.
And they've got the Vatican. They've got a crystal skull, an alien skull.
They
I
just
know a lot of Protestants hate Catholics, all right, guys? Because they're weird. And they've got the Vatican. They've got a crystal skull,
a crystal skull. Let me turn it up a little bit.
an alien skull.
They got, I don't know what that is, bones on the ceiling, and you got like statues of skeletons. Hey yo!
There, and that's really.
And then you got this one with like, it looks like a teeth and a jaw with gold and crystals and gemstones. Oh my gosh, what? That's a bit crazy still. That's a bit crazy still.
Man, it's the most charitable organization that's ever existed in history. So, not that one is necessarily better than the other. They're all institutions run by people. People can be evil. For example, Donald Trump's previous spiritual advisor being indicted for child.
Guys, read the headline. I don't know if you can see it clearly. He's a spiritual advisor, and he pled guilty to that actually. Boy,
Sex crimes. You know, that's the spiritual advisor of the United States of America. Did a bunch of child sex crimes
we love the TikTok shop.
in the 1980s. So
Yeah.
this guy right here, this is his
Entertainment purposes only. This is for educational purposes only.
full name. This is where he lives as well. Just, you know, for public information. Since he's a sex offender, he's got to.
My
You
gosh.
have to know that. You have to like, be able to tell that stuff. for safety and all that. So we have institutions preaching the teachings of a man who came from nothing, born in a manger, and commanded his followers to sell your possessions and give to the poor, and to not exalt
Bro put the full name out there. It was like, yeah, you need to know that. And his picture.
yourself at a gathering and invite people of the streets to fill your parties. And somehow 2,000 years later, we have corporate empires making somehow money off of that for some kind of transaction of divine favor. I don't know, dude. This doesn't make any sense at all. Not even a little bit. Take Matthew 19:21. Jesus answered, "If you want to be perfect, go sell your possessions and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come, follow me." Luke 12:33. Sell your possessions and give to the poor. Provide purses for yourselves that will not wear out, a treasure in heaven that will never fail, where no thief comes near and no moth destroys. Or Acts 2:44 through 45. All the believers were together and have everything in common. They sold property and possessions to give to anyone who had need. This is a really good example of...
That's what when you hear billionaires say, "Oh, I'm a philanthropist. I do philanthropy. I have charities." What? Where does it go? It doesn't actually improve anything. And then on top of that, tell you, "Oh, I'm a devout Christian." Oh. Maybe they should read those type of verses.
What I'm going through and have been going through over the last couple of years, I did not grow up in a Christian household. Okay, my parents are non-religious people. And I, myself, like to read some philosophers and have had a lot of anxiety in my life. And one of the philosophers I was drawn to over the last few years is Soren Kierkegaard, who is a very famous Christian philosopher who wrote... is Soren Kierkegaard, who is a very famous Christian philosopher who wrote a ton about the concept of the leap of faith. And I found that that was incredibly helpful to myself, not necessarily to believe in God and become part of an institution or any of these things, but to just have faith beyond what you know in your mind. And that's what's brought me down this route of believing. I apologize for any vitriol, by the way. I do not like the government. I like to talk shit about the government, and to me, this is just an extension of the government. It's the same level of corruption, the same just, you take this beautiful ideal and this ability for people to work together and work in unity, and then you have people bastardizing it and ruining it. It over, and then there's nothing anybody can do about it. In spite of my vitriol towards American prosperity gospel, it is no longer just restricted to the American empire. It has been exported globally. There are megachurches everywhere that have been created that dwarf the American counterparts. Take, for example, the $300 million replica of the original Temple of Solomon that was constructed with 10,000 seats in Sao Paulo, Brazil for $300 million.
Preach, pun intended. What? They couldn't have used that 300 million for something. Of course they could. Oh my goodness.
I said that twice. That's a lot of money. In South Korea, the world's
in Sao Paulo as well, one of the most one of the poorest cities, actually. Yeah.
Largest megachurch is the Yoido Full Gospel Church. It has multiple campuses, with its main campus alone being 12,000
YouTube rap. Check the Discord.
Seats. The church sees anywhere from 150,000 to 200,000 attendees across all locations in 7 Sunday services, and an estimated total of 580,000 members back in 2023. Now, to be fair, South Korean megachurch with 580,000 members, I don't know if it has the same level of insanity that what's happening here in America. It could be a genuinely beautiful institution. I don't really know, where everybody goes and worships and people actually live the way that they're espousing. But who knows? I don't speak Korean. If you're Korean and you know more, comment down below. Regardless, tax-exempt religious organizations wield an enormous amount of spiritual and now, in the modern times, financial influence globally. Some of these institutions have chosen to prioritize wealth accumulation.
Is this a club? Is this like Offset? Is this a Gunna performance? No, it's not. My goodness. This is a church. A mega church. There's a car driving around on stage.
Over service.
And you said, I'm going to start it. Let's start it. I'm down. Church of the Wizards. I bet. Let's just do it.
avarice and self-enrichment over the betterment of community.
What? You know what we could do with all that peas? Tax exempt. Oh God! Hey, that's blasphemy! No, 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 no. I don't claim that.
Which goes explicitly against the teachings that they claim to follow. People say there's no contradictions in the Bible. There are
Nobody above God than God.
Definitely lots of contradictions in the Bible.
Nobody on the same level
is a very obvious
as him.
contradiction. The works of man are so.
Ty's already starting, Angie. I don't look at where we started. Oh. Damn, this guy's gonna go to his school and start saying it to everyone. He's like, oh. Would you like to join the Church of the Wizards?
Dumb. It's
And then
insane,
oh
bro.
my gosh.
I just feel bad for a lot of these people, man. Getting lied to. Have you ever seen Righteous Gemstones?
Good afternoon, Jesus. Thank you for letting me be born into this world as a gemstone.
It's pretty realistic. These hypocritical elements within the church.
Born into
What movie is
Gemstones?
this?
Good afternoon, Jesus. Thank you for letting me be born into this world as a gemstone.
Church of Latter-day Mawons. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, our Lord. Oh, Savior Mawon, in the name of Mawon, and name. Holy.
It's pretty realistic. These hypocritical elements within the church are what Kelly Monroe discovered upon beginning her TikTok series. Her strategy was to
My
call
gosh.
churches to try and speak with someone, and she claimed to be a local desperate mother of a 2-month-old baby that hadn't eaten because she'd run out of formula.
Hey, I was wanting to see if y'all could help with a small can of baby formula. I have a 2-month-old and she's been out since last night, so she's gone all night and all day without anything to eat.
We don't have any formula around, darling. I'm sorry.
And it's a pretty modest request. A single small can worth $15, $20. If you're a
Millions of dollars. We don't have any baby formula.
church that seeks to help your community, it should be something that's a no-brainer, very easy to empathize with, and of course you'll assist
Naz, you still locked in? We said Naz, you still locked in with us? We'll all be wizardos. Oh my gosh. Wizardos. Oh, I think I woke Naz up, you know. I said his name and all of a sudden it disappeared.
hungry baby.
Could that be something you all could get and I could just pick it up?
No, we can't right now. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Once again, only 21% of the institutions called offered immediate help. Heritage Hope Church of God, which is a small Kentucky congregation, was among the few that stood out. The pastor of the church, Johnny Dunbar, is a 69-year-old great-grandfather, and he did not hesitate. In fact, he
bless
said
him.
he'd go himself if he needed to and deliver it personally.
I mean, if y'all could just get the formula, I could
That's a
pick
real
it
guy.
up or have somebody come get it.
We can do this. I'll just see. Tell me what it is it's called in case I have to go get it because I'm a great grandpa. I'm not used to being on phone. Okay.
And to be fair, this is the experience that I've had with churches growing up in Appalachia. No mega churches, obviously, but every person that I've met in small churches, Methodist, Baptist, whatever the denominations are, everybody was really nice. The Islamic Center of Charlotte in North Carolina similarly did not hesitate. They immediately said, "We can help," and asked what kind of formula was needed. No question.
We can, ma'am. Where do you?
Accidentally swiped into a live we shouldn't go. You have to restart your whole phone. Holy. There's a few of those at this point, though. I don't even know.
Yes, I'm like
The ops are plentiful these days.
10 minutes from you all.
Okay. And what kind of formula you need?
I just heard hi, and I quickly swiped back. Restart, washed it, and came back. He even put in rice for a sec, just to get the moisture out in case.
It's the Good Start.
Yeah, that's fine, man. If you come over here, we'll help you.
They didn't ask any questions. They didn't say, are you Muslim? Or do you come here? Or do you live in Charlotte? They just offered help. A Buddhist temple in Chapel Hill, North Carolina would also help, and a Catholic church in Columbia, South Carolina had a
can we get a hint?
woman offered $10 from her own pocket to help feed a hungry baby.
Just come. If they don't have baby food, I'll give you $10 from my pocket, and you'll buy some can.
Okay, that's so sweet.
So not even the church organization, but rather a member of the church, which as far as I'm concerned, I think that is kind of what the church is, right? It's people, I think, not the building. Or maybe it is. I don't know, guys. Me no lots. These instant yeses come from institutions with relatively small congregations and small amounts of followers. And if they can do it, surely the megachurch.
I had to do my accounts today. Holy. Did I take long? Savage. Oh, I'm an idiot. Never mind.
Churches can. They actually have infrastructure.
Sorry. Forget what I said.
For this type of thing, or at least you'd think they would. The pattern
Holy.
among wealthy
No,
megachurches told a completely different story. Take Lakewood Church, for example.
That's what I got.
Osteen's
No
Houston
energy right now.
megachurch. It has $59 million in assets and a $90 million annual budget. And when Nikali called this church, they directed her to apply for their benevolence ministry.
We do have a benevolence ministry. I can take down your information and put in a request for you.
And this was a process that could take at minimum a couple of days and at the most a few weeks because it's a process.
Look
so
how
if this really
big the
were
church
a
is,
desperate
bruv.
mother of a starving child, that is far too long to wait for help. The baby would die for sure. And that's obviously
We love the
assuming your
TikTok shop.
benevolence application is approved, okay? HAL 9000. God is AI. God is AI. The clankers are coming. The clankers are coming. On their website, they'll provide you with a list of local places that can help.
It
But when
is.
someone calls to seek help
That is
directly,
nasty.
it's sort of a roundabout way of saying no, or a roundabout way of just making it difficult. The bureaucracy to just kind of, like maybe go to the
Get
other
baby
church down the
milk.
street. The small one with like 70 old people that just show up every Sunday because they believe in something similar and they all love each other and take care of each other and so on and so forth. You're probably better off just going there, knocking on the door of a little tiny church than trying to apply for the benevolence ministry. What the It's a good name for a metal band, though, to be honest. Benevolence Ministry. Now take the First Baptist Church of Dallas, Texas, an institution with 13,000 members, which opened a new 100.
Today I walked past the river and thought you can get caught in current or you can learn to swim faster. I would, bro, fighting against the water is a losing battle. I'm not saying abandon, but I'm not saying like abandon the mission, but I've bought food for yeah, and you don't have a £90 million budget, right? Yeah, don't try to learn to swim in in the Amsterdam River, bro. It's too cold for that.
$30 million state-of-the-art facility in 2013 that's been called the largest Protestant church building project in modern history. They said they had no programs to help. They only have 13,000 members and $130 million building. How do you get $130 million from 13,000 people? How do you do that? How's that work? Interesting. Everyone would have to give them $10,000 for.
Nah, they must get government funding as well. They must get federal funding. How the flip do you get what?
Yeah, $10,000 to get $130 million, at least. What? But either way, they had no programs to help. Maybe that's because they're too busy trying
Obviously,
to hoard
they do,
$95 million by the end of 2026 to rebuild their sanctuary and enhance the church campus. Bro, you just built $130 million worth of stuff, construction. It was like,
Did you see the name he put? Did you see the name he put in the application? This is the type. This is a Nas crash out. This is the type of ish Nas would do, bro. This is a Nas move.
Campus, bro. You just built $130 million worth of stuff.
Did you guys see that? Oh my goodness. Nas, I'm starting to know you now. Nas would definitely troll the website like that. 100%.
Construction, it was like a decade ago. Now you need $100 million
have a
more
story.
because it's
I have a story might even be funnier than the story for some reason.
it's old and beige is out. What the that's $10 million a year that they're reserving for renovations and construction. That could just be going to, you know,
The community.
helping people or whatever you're supposed to do.
What's the story, bro?
It seems like more of that. It's like whatever we're supposed to do. I don't even know, dude. As long as we look like we're helping people, that's what really matters. You could buy.
I'm not gonna lie, that's probably legit what they say in the meetings. When they have the meetings, that's probably what they say.
It seems like more of that. It's like whatever we're supposed to do. I don't even know, dude. As long as we look like we're helping people, that's what really matters. You could buy 500,000 babies, $20 of formula a year with $10 million, approximately. In this economy? Yeah. Yeah, in this economy. Yeah, actually. You could. Yeah, it's $20. The 39th church that Nikali called was Dream City Church in Phoenix, Arizona.
Red card.
And this is the church that Charlie Kirk attended and was a ministry partner. Phoenix, Arizona.
Red card. Alright, we're about to get into the tea now.
The 39th church that Nikali called was Dream City Church in Phoenix, Arizona. And this is the church that Charlie Kirk attended and was a ministry partner.
Let me connect you with our care pastor. She handles all of the connections and our resources that we're able to give out.
Thank you.
Ultimately, Nikali was sent to voicemail when trying to pursue direct assistance from the church. So
the person you are trying to reach is currently unavailable.
And some of the top comments on this video.
Yeah, you got filtered, my bro. I just saw I have a story in the Kentish Town police station. Holy.
Point out the hypocrisy of the church since
This is Charlie Kirk's church, bro. They probably got so much donation after what happened. So much donations. And they couldn't even buy milk, bro. What?
on November 5th, 2 days before Nikali posted this video, they posted a video to Instagram saying that socialism is bad because it's not the job of the government to help poor people. And that's the old church and state thing.
This is the
Once
church.
again, you know, the commentary from the church on, I mean, church
Wait,
is
this
bad
is
because it's
this
not
is
the
getting.
job.
It's like now they're not even hiding their intentions anymore. They're just saying it plainly. They're like, bro, we're not here to help you, fam. No one, like, the government is not here to help you either, cause you're just here to pay tax. Like, the rest is on you, cause, like, you see me, I got $1 billion. Do something. Start a church. Sell some flipping courses. Like, I don't know.
Point out the hypocrisy of the church since
God loves money, of course, right? That's probably the first verse that they know, that they learn.
On November 5th, 2 days before Nikali posted this
Hello, Naz.
video, they posted a video to Instagram saying that socialism is bad because it's not the job of the government to help poor people. And that's the old church and state thing. Once again, you know.
Oh, so they say it's not the job of. They said it's the job of the church, not the government, to take care of poor people. That's even worse. They clearly are not. Anyway.
Government to help poor people, and that's the old church and state thing.
Great.
Once again, you know, the commentary from the church on.
The filter didn't mind Angie beefing a youth though. The filter did not mind Angie beefing a youth. They're like, yeah, it seems fair.
I mean, if you read the Bible, I feel like that's all it's about, really. If you kind of, I don't know what Bible.
I don't want to say explicitly in case, you know.
Been reading, but I feel like it's.
They might end up filtering me.
Nothing like what. It just seems like nothing like what the other people's Bibles say. I think mine's different or something. So yeah, not a lot of good looks there. Don't practice what you preach or whatever the sure, I guess, you know, I'm not so sure the government would do that good of a job with socialism either. But like the church should be helping people for show. Germantown Baptist Church in Germantown, Tennessee was called, but unfortunately their benevolence program is for their members only.
We unfortunately are not. We have a benevolence program, but it is for our members.
Pay to win, dude. Pay to survive. With the church. This was a reason given by several churches that denied help. You have to be a member of the church to get help from the church. You have to pay to win. Yes, I remember that quote from the Bible where Jesus would help people, but first he would ask, wait, before I heal you, are you Jewish? Hold on a second. Are you a Jewish person? Nikali's experiment is a great idea, and it went viral within 2 weeks. The series began on Halloween, and the 40-second and final video was uploaded on YouTube. That is...
Listen, before I heal you, are you one of us?
1 week and 2 days later. In that time, she went from 300
He's hilarious, isn't it? My goodness. He's hilarious.
And the public reaction has been both emotional and financial. Those who do help are receiving thousands of dollars in donations from people who want their money to go to somewhere they know will actually use it to help people. Because most Christians, like, this isn't really like an anti-Christian thing. Most Christians that I know, well, all of them, actually, I know for a fact if I called them, and I don't know that many people, to be fair, but if I called them and I needed help, or if I knew somebody that needed help or whatever, they would just 100% there, because they're people. They're normal people. They're not like freaks. They're not sycophants. Just because you're a Christian doesn't mean you can't be a sycophant. And I feel like a lot of Christians they know that. So this is not even like a anti, you know? It's kind of weird, dude. Somerset Church, where Johnny Dunbar, the great-grandfather who offered to help Nikali, is the pastor, spoke with the local news, saying they'd received substantial donations and that the money will only be used to help others, which is beautiful.
And now they're reaching out to him, offering his little congregation of about 100 money to help their various ministries.
It's blown me away. I wasn't just putting in time.
Oh, I think this is one of the churches that did help, and I think that they ended up receiving much more donations from other people.
I'm loving this people. I prayed for years, God, let our little old church touch the world. God sent a little baby to rescue us. He didn't send a mighty warrior. He sent a little baby to rescue us.
Thomas Burke, a pastor at one of the churches that failed the test,
responded
in a bathrobe, saying,
I hope he puts that money to good use.
That churches aren't obligated to help.
Churches, they are not obligated. We hope that they're going to be able to be philanthropic and donate into their community.
He also outlines how churches are scammed all the time by people doing the exact same thing.
Because what scammers do is they go through the directory of churches, they go through online directories, and they email and they scam all members of churches, and they say, can you send me a Visa gift card? Can you send me this gift card?
Hence the benevolent program that you got to do a background. We got to run a background check on you. We got to take 2 minutes. All right, dude, come on now. You're going to scam us, all right? Poor people, they scam us. But if we circle back to...
This is reverse psychology. What's going on there?
Pastor Johnny Dunbar, in his statement with the local news, he even said, I've said no 1,000 times. I've been scammed. I've been told every story in the world.
I said no 1,000 times. I've been scammed. I mean, I've been told every story in the world. Why should it be a big thing that we done the right thing?
But he still said yes to Nikali when she asked him for help. So Burke's explanation is weak, no matter how comfortable that bathrobe may be. This experiment went incredibly viral, and I feel like the timing of the experiment matters in a pretty profound way. Monroe's test occurred during the government shutdown when 42 million Americans receiving SNAP benefits were affected. And this time was a time in which people were making the argument that churches should replace government safety nets, and so Nikali tested that.
It's not even replace. They should just step in where they can. They should just work in tandem. Why couldn't they work together? Why can't they have government plans that work with local churches, and when local churches have more funding, they can take the initiative and lead the project, and then the government will just supply the money that's missing. But it's driven by profit, clearly, because it's not rocket science. It's clearly not
Concrete
rocket
emergency.
science.
Feed a hungry baby. Most failed. Things are bleak. Am I right, guys? It's up. Now let's talk about Jessica Siegel, a marketing expert who works with faith-based nonprofits. She advocates for churches during this time, saying that these faith-based institutions were scrambling to figure out how to rapidly expand their programs and raise more funds to meet a growing need. But seemed like too tall an order. To be clear, there's a definite role that these places play in the safety net for at-risk families and individuals. After all, historically, they were the original safety net.
Watching Improville.
Like feeding the hungry, clothing the poor, and taking in the orphan are all directly in the liturgy of the major religious
this is the educational side of our channel right now.
traditions. It's in their DNA.
It's a bit quiet, as you can see.
Changing now is how the funds are gathered.
You don't have many scholars.
It's
To be fair, some are probably sleeping.
Big old churches need to start taking Bitcoin. All right, guys, that shit's gonna unravel. You know, Jeffrey Epstein started Bitcoin. You know that? I heard that somewhere. I think I might have just made it up. Unfortunately, these are dark times. Jeffrey Epstein's. Everybody's on
What's
that
the
list.
Epstein
In Jessica
started
Siegel's
Bitcoin?
eyes, it's not a matter of not wanting to help, but rather a matter of not being able to meet.
Why do I feel like there may be
even if
a story behind that? Bro, if there's actually a story behind that, this guy.
if they want to. Most congregations simply don't have the infrastructure or resources to meet every need that comes their way. Siegel's explanation is
The he? Oh, Naz, this guy we're watching right now, his name is Improville. I'm off to Google, and then I'm intrigued. Why did you say that?
one that I'd definitely be willing to accept in certain situations, but I don't think it can be a blanket excuse for every church that refused to help in the test conducted by Nicole Monroe. After all, some of the reasons given were that you must be a member of the church to become
Wait, I want to get something to eat. One sec. I'll be quick. Why am I searching? Does Epstein have any links to Bitcoin? What does Epstein have to do with Bitcoins? Or yeah, I've that's the name I've heard. That Japanese dude. But yeah, this guy just got my gears turning. Hold on. I want to shape Mr. Yamato's and Nakamato. Wait, what? Fun fact, he's not a person, but a group of people. Wait, what? I actually thought he was a person. What? So what, did the Googles come back with anything? wanna do why for that? No, Jeffrey Epstein did not create Bitcoin. Bitcoin was created by an anonymous son of a group of people using the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the one I've heard. Could Epstein know them though? That's the question. What did you have to do with anything in Japan? Unless they're not all Japanese. We shall find out another day. Because this Epstein guy was everywhere.
Unfortunately. These are dark times. Clankers are everywhere. Jeffrey Epstein's. Everybody's on that list.
Oh, he was lying.
In Jessica Siegel's.
Alright, cool. Did he have money in Bitcoins? That's the next question. The creative part. Oh wait, but it is a theory online though. AI says it is widely speculated that Jeffrey Epstein had an interest in and potentially owned bitcoins, but there is no definitive evidence that he directly held large amounts of the cryptocurrency in his own assets at the time of his death. His involvement with Bitcoin was primarily through indirect funding of early development and advocacy for regulation. No, he did more than just. They can't even prove if he actually had bitcoins, but they know that he funded it indirectly, the early development stage, and he did advocacy for maybe change of regulation, maybe so it's more accepted by the government. Newly released emails from 2018 show Epstein corresponded with former White House Chief Strategist Steve Bannon, urging the U.S. Treasury Department to implement stricter tax regulation and disclosure programs for cryptocurrencies. He believed this would help law enforcement target illicit actors and prevent untraceable wealth from escaping government view. Epstein facilitated significant donations to the MIT, with a portion directed to the MIT Media Lab's digital currency initiative. The DCI used these funds to pay the salaries of several early Bitcoin core developers during a critical period of the cryptocurrency's growth. The developers were reportedly unaware of the source of the funds, so they didn't know where the funds came from. I've read enough. So he is involved somehow. This guy. Wait, Prince whatever the hell that's hit all because of his affiliation. Yeah, Naz, we was meant to watch a video on that too. That's the next one. Naz, Prince Andrew is the next one we meant to watch after this. Well, not today, but it's on the list. Group hug, no thanks. The Nakamura's only. That's tomorrow. I could tomorrow rewatch the Andrew thing, Naz.
It's not.
But yeah, Epstein was very much involved in the Bitcoin, how it started and how it got accepted and stuff like that.
Matter of not wanting to help, but rather a matter of not being able to meet every need, even if they want to. Most congregations simply don't have the infrastructure or resources to meet every need that comes their way. Siegel's explanation is
after
one
that
that I'd
10:30,
definitely be
please.
willing
Yeah,
to
yep.
accept in certain
Yeah, we can do that.
situations, but I don't think it can be a blanket excuse for every church that refused to help in the test conducted by Nicole Monroe. After all, some of the reasons given were that you must be a member of the church to become a beneficiary of their benevolence programs. In order to be helped, in order to be healed, in order to be saved, you have to be a member. If a real starving family or a mother of a starving baby were to reach out to a church with a request for aid and receive this answer, not a test as put forward by Nicole, but rather a real situation, then they would have blood on their hands, in my opinion. It is easy to view that as holding life-saving food for ransom. All you have to do is convert and join the church. Or they can just outright deny to help someone in need. And I don't know how many people scam. The dude in the fucking bathrobe seemed to think that it was really common. People are just calling churches to scam churches all the time. But people love scamming churches, dude. It's like kind of the thing poor people do. They love scamming churches. What? You're a fool, you goofy bathrobe fuck. Even Siegel, who's advocating for the good work these religious organizations do, doesn't believe they are the end-all, be-all solution. She said, ultimately, in today's world, I believe meeting community needs really requires strong collaborations between faith institutions, non-profit.
I keep thinking he's calling her the Carly. Wait, who?
Even what? Dude, just calling churches. Many people scam. The dude in the fucking bathrobe seemed to think that it was really common. People are just calling churches to scam churches all the time. But people love scamming churches, dude. It's like kind of the thing poor people do. They love scamming churches. What?
Did I miss it?
You're a fool, you goofy bathrobe fuck. As put forward by Nikali with a request for aid and received this answer, not a test as put forward by Nikali, but rather a
okay. What's her name? Nicole.
real situation answer, not a test as put forward by Nikali, but rather a real situation. Then they would have blood on their hands, in my opinion. It is easy to view that as holding life-saving food for ransom.
Something like that.
All you have to do is convert and join the church. Or they can just outright deny to help someone.
I can't even get the exact name.
I don't know how many people scam. The dude in the bathrobe seemed to think that it was really common. People are just calling churches to scam churches all the time. But people love scamming churches.
Oh, that might be
it's like
Nikali.
Poor people do.
That might be
They love scamming churches. What? You're a fool.
I thought Nicole. It might be Nicole.
Even Siegel, who's advocating for the good work these religious organizations do, doesn't believe they are the end-all solution. She said, ultimately, in today's world, I believe meeting community needs really requires strong collaborations between faith institutions, nonprofits, and public systems. So there really isn't a great answer out there, according to her, which I would agree. I don't know anything at all.
Nice.
But many churches, including those Nikali called work with food pantry,
some rice, some yam porridge, and tuna.
And nonprofits that feed the hungry, shelter the homeless, and clothe the needy in their communities by providing funds. But still, even those nonprofits and shelters don't have unlimited resources or space for everyone who might need.
I was right the first time. What does Nicole?
Such a thing. When those resources become unavailable, people in need may see churches and religious temples as the next best option, leading them to call for help. Because in all honesty, if you read the book, it seems like that's where you should go for help. It really does. It really genuinely does. That's what I'm getting from it. And I'm new to it, so maybe I don't know. Maybe I haven't gotten to greed 9/11. Okay, guys? I haven't gotten that far yet. Okay, and I don't remember that being in the first 5 books. So yeah, and when it looks like these places won't even help feed a starving baby, it paints a very grim and uncaring picture. Appalachian Paw Johnny Dunbar said it best when he and Nikali sat together for a conversation.
God has given us a moment in time, an opportunity, and this may be the last opportunity.
Is this guy on TikTok?
But
getting hot me's?
If we lose this one, the world doesn't trust the church. I'm going to be honest, they don't trust us. They think we're irrelevant. They really don't think we care.
And with this test, the no's outweighing the yeses by such a degree seemed to confirm people's distrust, and some of the churches realized how bad it made them look. And whether motivated by a need to manage a PR crisis or by genuine regret, some even apologize.
He's milking it, innit?
Incredible, because that's really what it's.
He's milking it. How many appearances did he do? And now he's ended up on TikTok on his account.
You have to be able to find out where there are holes. Are people just not even calling anymore? Do they literally not have the infrastructure set up at all because it's so uncommon? There's a reality in which, of course, maybe they're not evil, okay? But is it a problem? Yes, objectively, it is definitely a problem. They need help, absolutely. Pastor Jared Neiman of the Abundant Church in El Paso told...
You saw that post on Twitch. I have nothing against him being on Twitch, but I can just smell something's off. Something's off.
his congregation, we did not handle it properly. I've been mortified by it, embarrassed by it. We did offer food, but we didn't offer it with the urgency the situation requires. We made a mistake. I apologize. Which is very commendable, and I wouldn't be surprised if that church became a genuine force for good for the local community from now on because of Nikali's little fun TikTok experiment. I wouldn't be surprised. Sometimes all it takes is one person to go in there and flip a table and say, you're all den of thieves, you know? All it takes is one fella or girl or whatever. A spokesperson from Joel Osteen.
The pastor was playing God. What in the world is going on here?
The Lakewood Church called it an error and claimed they support 21 crisis pregnancy centers, formula, and 16 food pantries. However, they don't stock it directly for immediate distribution.
I mean, I know there are people, but
it's an error. He's handsome.
Damn,
He's
how'd you go from that to that?
I'll give him that. I'll give him that. He looks like a good-looking guy. He's a handsome dude, and I can't get over how handsome he is. But when you get over how handsome he is and you look at the darkness behind it, pretty scary. Okay, guys?
I fully believe that. And we're in 2025. Nothing shocks me. So I couldn't know this was a joke straight away.
He plasters that.
No.
Face on with the money of his congregation. Some other institutions did not respond with such grace. Matt Brown, the pastor at Germantown Baptist Church, responded on the church's Facebook page saying,
"In the last week, our church, along with more than 40 other churches around the country, have been part of a social media campaign that's misleading and has painted an incomplete picture of our approach to caring for the real needs of people.
Shut up.
These videos and
You're
comments
calling 4K.
include false attacks on our ministry, our members, and many of our staff. The narrative and disgusting remarks aimed at us and the hateful messages."
Bro sounds like a politician. He sounds like flipping Joe Biden or Barack Obama. What's going on?
"Aimed at my own family have been quite extensive." Now, the opportunity to learn how to better organize our ministry efforts and to serve our community and to communicate our desires
What the hell?
is not lost on us in this moment. And for that, we are extremely grateful.
So whether or not one would take that as a suitable response, acknowledging that they recognize their opportunity to optimize their community outreach, while also sharing that the hateful rhetoric is affecting many who played no role in the no response from GBC, that is a statement that's just prepared for social media release. It seems kind of, I don't know, like not a great one. It's misleading and bullshit. All right, guys, it's misleading and bullshit. Sure, we didn't help, but like, we really wanted to and stuff. And now we're getting attacked. Oh, isn't that like the whole thing? You bear the cross. Isn't that like the whole thing? You have to be willing to take it, dude. Isn't that the whole thing? I swear to God, I think my Bible's different than these other people. What the? This is my Bible. It's Goosebumps, number 3, Captain Batwing Hall. Anyways, that was Matt Brown's social media response, but he addressed the controversy during a church service 5 days before this, which was filmed on someone's phone, and that response was quite a bit nastier. He said,
"The video that has celebrated what is believed to be unrighteous behavior on our part is itself an unrighteous, fake attempt to set up..."
I can't stand these flipping pastors with the reverse psychology. How does that work on real human beings? Like, you must be you must have a fish brain. Like, what the flip? Anything you do, no, it's you that have a problem. No, it's you that needs repentance. Now it's you that needs to pray more. Now it's you that needs to make more money. What? Now it's you that needs to give me money. What the flip? What the flip? I don't understand. I legit don't understand. I mean, you must have a fish brain, bro. I'm sorry, but what? Imagine I went to church to hear a guy cussing TikTok people, bro. Get on with the word, fam. Golly. Honestly, this is what me and you are in the same basket. Yep, and I'm. This is not to say that it's so bad, because like you said at first, most people are actually good people. Most small churches are actually decent, but boy, it's all the same matrix. They all follow. It's like Oops. I ain't going to church to get gas. Yeah, I'm okay on that. Already got work for that.
Trap for us and derail the ministry of GBC and steal our joy and steal our confidence as the people of God. The attempt to disparage GBC is neither light.
Still all joy. Hear this one. Still all joy. Right. Would you steal money?
Nor truth. The writer of Proverbs is known to personify wisdom as a person, but he also personifies folly. He says in chapter 9, verse 13, the woman folly is loud. She is seductive and knows nothing.
Which is not a great way, in my opinion, to describe the woman who called you just to see if you'd try and provide baby formula
Seductive?
to a
What
starving
does-
baby. She didn't make...
What does what she looks have to do with anything? How do you know what she knows? She just posted one video. Bro just said she's a stupid bimbo, pretty much. Like, what?
the church say no. Isn't that what it's all about, is the tests? So, what a terrible thing to say. And he's doing this. She didn't write the church policy saying the benevolence program is for members.
Because you're over nasty. I think that's what he thinks clearly, because I didn't even get the conclusion. How do you get to that? A person that is seductive but knows nothing. What?
Only that's just on the church.
Okay, yeah, no, I got that. He's definitely, that's definitely his mindset. And yes,
And it doesn't take a genius to see.
those have to refer to even it. Oh, you said it.
that is very limiting and kind of an exclusionary thing when it's supposed to be for everybody. I thought, at least. Once again, I could be reading a different Bible. Now, Pastor Brown's response is kinder than the response of Bishop Raymond Johnson of Living Faith Christian Church in Baton Rouge, who called Monroe a witch who did a dirty deed and even threatened she would be dealt with swiftly.
How you gonna do your little dirty deed and you know, it's just the spirit of a witch. It's a witch. You will be dealt with very, very swiftly.
Really wild thing to say. But
I thought we left that in,
I know
in
that so
French.
far this has largely
I
covered
thought
some-
we left that with the French Revolution, the witch hunting. What is going on? This is why we're reviving the wizards. See, this is why we are under attack, guys. We are under attack by these people doing these vile stunts, calling people witch and stuff like this. We will not have it.
and glorified internet drama, and the goal of this video isn't...
Adam and Eve. Wait, I saw that. Maybe you did hear me. I said it before you mentioned it, and I was like, oh, you even said it. Like, the church always got to mention Eve when they have to refer to, like, what women be doing anyway. I'm trying to get comfy on this chair. I can't get comfy.
To call attention to every church that said no or every church that said yes. That is simply the situation that has brought megachurches to mind again, because with their...
Oh, wait. Oh, okay, yeah.
You will be dealt with very, very swiftly.
Really wild thing to say. But
She's still an apple.
anyways, I know that so far this has largely covered some glorified internet drama, and the goal of this video isn't to call attention to every church that said no or every church that said yes. That is simply the situation that has brought megachurches to mind again, because with their massive budgets, where is the money going if not to the people who need it most? Where does that money go? Some abuses are small scale, just stingy benevolence funds, you know, things like not helping starving babies, etc. But others involve spending that redefines church as a source of entertainment rather than religious guidance and charity, an industry of spectacle. Big church means big money, and once you taste big money, you don't want to give that up. And if you want to keep butts and seats and cold, hard cash in your offering tray, you need to dazzle the congregation. You need to do crazy things. All right, guys, it's all about clickbait. It's YouTube viewership, Mr. Beastification of church, literally. Now, a church that wasn't called by Nicali in these experiments, but does embody the spectacle spending, as we've just decided to name it, is the James River Church in Springfield, Missouri. James River approaches worship in a way that prioritizes theatrical productions and masculine-themed entertainment. It is Righteous Gemstones. Have you seen Righteous Gemstones? It's a great show. It's hilarious.
Your whole ministry is set up to serve the gemstones. You should be ashamed of yourself. Well, I ain't. Praise be to He.
The James River Annual Men's Conference encapsulates the issue.
I'm gonna have to watch that movie at some point. I can't lie. I'm gonna have to watch that.
Perfectly.
Did you see that congregation? Fire! Fire! Fireworks! I'm not gonna lie, you bring any African person to this, they'll be like, what in the world is going on here?
$119 per ticket, you can watch as rock music plays to the scene of a monster truck, or even a tank driving over cars while pyrotechnics blast fire into the air.
For real? Cirque du Soleil, yes. Yes. I'm dumbfounded. What is going on? I mean, I knew churches was doing braziness, but this is a different level.
Oh my God, I love that! And yes, my IQ is too low to get into the military. It's a conference that exists to empower and motivate men to live out God's view of manhood and be the best husbands, fathers, and leaders God has called them to be. That is an actual quote. For the low, low price of a couple pieces of paper with presidential faces on it, you can see masculinity in action with strongman shows, BMX, motocross, dunk contests, boxing, bull riding, and MMA, American Ninja Warrior, and more. Now, I get it. All right, guys, I get it. There is definitely a place for masculinity and all this stuff, and it's certainly, I love masculinity. I'm I'm trying to be a very masculine man. I try to work out. I shoot things and stuff, and I try to be there for people and all this stuff, and, you know, work hard and all that, but, like, I don't know if that's really what the Bible's. I don't know. Once again, I think we have different Bibles. Ah, shit. I feel like an idiot. Like it's my first day of school and I'm an outsider. The 2025 conference anticipated people from over 34 states and 34 countries to be in attendance. But it's only men, okay? No women allowed. These are men-only events which the church promotes as helping men connect and grow in strength in Christ through world-class athletic entertainment, which is genuinely hilarious. This is so what a waste of money. I mean, like, I get it. It's kind of cool if you want to do it. Sure, why not? Volunteer only, but I just don't.
Don't use the congregation's money. Use your, I don't know, raise funds to do a show. Men, just men, yes. Yes. Just raise funds to do your show. Why are you gonna act as if you're doing this for the community? And wait, hold on. It's not even free. They have to pay to get in. It's not even free. My goodness.
Don't spend the church money on it. I don't know.
Spend that. That's exactly what I said.
Don't spend the church money on it. I don't know. Maybe spend that on, like,
baby milk.
People in need and stuff. I don't know. It seems kind of dumb. The conference has been subject, as you can imagine, to controversy. Okay, guys, online people regularly criticize the event. Responses from Christians to the 2023 conference didn't hold back. He said, "This is biblical masculinity? No, this is what boys who grew up without fathers think masculinity is. There is nothing manly in all these charades. No wonder we are in the condition we are as a society," which I totally agree with that. It's pretty not masculine, really. That stuff's not super masculine.
Bars. I want to chill with men, just men. Wow.
Get maybe like a tough, maybe the American.
You don't want to feel useful. You don't want to feel like thoughtful. That someone's relying on you. You don't want to, I don't know, maybe hear another perspective from the other. You know, nah. America, F yeah, America.
Or you're, you know, really exerting yourself.
America.
Discipline and stuff.
Holy.
But maybe not the. No, I don't know. Another comment reads, "I'm from Springfield and attended James River briefly back in the day."
I feel like that's why I got bored in sports sometimes. Because it was cool and nice just to man them, but then, bro, all the time. Like, it's cool and that, but damn. Like, some people that love that, like being in the locker room and chatting and like, bro, like I'm just trying to get changed and get on the pitch, bro. I'm not, you know what I'm saying?
And have a close childhood friend who is a member of their ministry staff. It's not some place I'd send children to learn about how to be great men or women. I don't have the same level of disdain for the place most others around here do, but I certainly can see the silliness of it all. They aren't hiding it. This wasn't a one-off. They are in the business of mass appeal, not preaching Christianity in any deep way, which is blasphemous, heretical, and so on. Which I agree with this guy. This is a more nuanced take. Even Christian commentators are critical of it. Michael Knowles reacted to a clip of the conference and said that
what seems unfortunate is that
well, you never read the part of the Bible when they explain the part about the tanks, how they're halal and that, and like that you can use tanks, and you never seen that part.
the appeal of it is entertainment. We need sobriety, I think, is what we need. We need study is what we need. We need seriousness.
His description reads, I think it looks kind of fun, but it's not exactly what men need right now. Men need formality, which I don't even know if that's true, but it seems like that may be more true. Be more formal.
A little bit more true, but I don't even.
It's definitely something that people on all sides can find something to be critical
Thanks
about
for whoever connect us
within
to
this thing. It doesn't seem like a good thing to do. I can't help but wonder if it's really the best use of the resources of the church, though. That's my big thing.
No, but if that fire shooting from the floor into the sky, what part is that too? My goodness.
It's the congregation's
Some 360
donations
tanks will forever connect us to
and tithes are for BMX. Are you kidding me? It's idiocracy is what it is. It really is. It just boils down to genuine idiocracy, man. It's fucking crazy. The physical infrastructure alone of America's megachurches operates at a scale that rivals that of Fortune 500 companies. We take another look at...
Do you know what I like Imperville as well? Because he doesn't seem, from what I've seen of his content, like he doesn't seem to ride like one trend or like one style of thinking. Like he's just doing his own thing. Like, he's not relying on this is what things that people are doing content based on this these days. Like he don't give a. I think at first he wouldn't say much about Trump. For example, he was like, oh, I don't know, whatever. He's entertaining. And the more he was looking into this, he was like, this is ridiculous. Where some people, they can't even get to that point. They're just like, oh, but just give it some time. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, man. My gosh, he's not presidential, so why do you expect him to act like a president? He's not gonna be speaking like all the other presidents, so sometimes he's gonna say things that are a bit crazy. Have you seen the movie Jokers? Yes, I have. I need to rewatch it. That movie is so funny. He gets into everything, but he's consistent in how he presents it. Facts. Like I don't feel like a secret agenda behind his videos
the
at all.
Church, Joel Osteen's, they spent $119 million to acquire and renovate Houston's former Compaq Center, the NBA arena where the Rockets once played. The facility seats 16,800 people and required $100 million.
It's so prevalent today. Wait, what? Oh, let me close the application. Oh yeah. It's so relevant now. Yep. that's basically what's going on now. When you, yeah,
dollar
pretty
Bank
much.
of America loan that took 20 years to repay. That's an average of $5 million per year being set aside just to pay off the debt they took on to give themselves a stadium to pray. And remember, it's reported in 2017 they gave $1.2 million to charitable causes and outreach. And that same year, they spent 10 times that on fundraising alone. So spending more money on raising funds than using those funds for actual mission work is really, really insane. And people, you know, a lot of Christians are very critical of, which Catholics obviously are Christian, but allegedly, I'm just kidding, they are definitely. But I know so many Protestants who hate Catholics and Orthodox and hate Mormons of all. And if you look at the charitable, if you look at the organization and the actual charity, it's a very bleak picture. It's a lot of cringe out there, guys. Even Scientology does a lot of. I mean, they're all corrupt. They're institutions of man. Of course, they're corrupt.
Welcome back.
And they're all goofy as shit. 2017, by the way, that is also the year where Lakewood and Joel Osteen faced severe backlash over allegations that they.
Do you know what's funny as well, Angie? You know, going back to that, the no agenda type thing. Right now, we're in the era of like, Christ is king. Everybody shouldn't push this thing right now. Bro is like, no, I'm gonna drop a video exposing this right now. Not last year, not next year or in 2 years. Right now. Oh my days.
Kept the church doors closed during Hurricane Harvey that affected tens of thousands of people, to which they responded that the church had severe flooding. But don't worry, guys. At the start, Joel Osteen tweeted that he and his wife were praying for those affected and invited citizens of Twitter to join them in prayer. Big ups to prayer. Meanwhile, while they were claiming their 606,000 square foot facility was inaccessible due to flooding, people on social media had posted pictures and videos showing that the location appeared to be pretty clear of flooding. Clear enough to where people could go in there if they needed it, you know, because they did. They eventually opened it to evacuees, but the amount of time that passed before this development had already done enough damage. And then, of course, in 2021, when Hurricane Ida was displacing people in New Orleans, Louisiana, Osteen was sure to post a video to Twitter welcoming anyone who could make their way there. Of course, he learned his lesson. And Lakewood and Osteen are very easy to dog on because they're one of the largest in the US, but there are so many mega churches.
I'm going to use that line. Which one? The goofy one? Because they're all goofy. No, it's probably not that one. Holy, that one took me out.
You don't have to look far to find controversy. One positive thing about Lakewood that we should definitely grant is that their finances are public. James River, the incredible entertainment venue, underwent renovation.
That one took me out as well. Man says he invited them to join them in prayer. Big ups to prayer. Next. Yo. This is actually different for an American as well. They don't usually do much dry humor, but this guy,
Renovations back
10 dry humor.
Over 61,000 square feet of property were to be remodeled, with 26,000 square feet of space being added to the building so that the youth ministry could get its own auditorium in the main building, as well as other departments and areas like a gymnasium. The estimated cost for this project was not disclosed.
Big up to prayer.
But you can see pictures of the completed upgrades on the website of the contractor which did the construction, and it does not look very cheap. It looks fairly expensive. So there's tons of other megachurches. To be considered a megachurch, a weekly attendance of 2,000 people is the minimum. That doesn't sound like a whole lot, and when you think of a megachurch, you probably think of a Lakewood.
He understands irony, which Americans usually don't. Yeah, facts.
Evil guy up there in Eagle Mountain Lake. What's that guy?
I feel like it takes a level. It's not even to shit on Americans. But you do need a certain level of intelligence to fully do irony and even understand it, I feel like. Because sometimes it's very like covert things.
With the scary mask.
And sometimes it might be references to other things as well.
Human beings are demons.
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did.
That guy freaks.
Believe that human beings are demons.
I know a demon when I see one.
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did.
That guy freaks me the out. I feel like he's evil. I would bet money on that. And all the other prosperity gospel freaks. But it only takes 2,000 members in the congregation weekly. The number of mega churches in America has risen sharply. A cool little infographic from Church Tech Today back in 2013 outlined the rise from
You saw them in the back of his head. Yes, sirski. Those are holes.
only 10 mega churches in 1970 to more than 1,600 in 2011.
I'm pretty sure he was trying to a lady as well. Why would you need to do all that? It's the whole thing about the red pill masculinity and all these things online now. It's like, why? They're always like, why? Why you be so harsh, so loud when it's a girl? Like, I don't understand. And then they're gonna be like, oh yeah, like, man's a big man, I'm the prize, cause you have to respect me. Some of them are like 40, 45. Like, bro, what are we doing?
Hartford Institute for Religion Research estimates that number is now closer to
This guy was in his 60s,
Gateway
at
Church,
least.
a mega church in Southlake, Texas, invested a reported $86 million in the construction of its main campus and is also
and especially like his age, he was like 60. Like those ages, like, you know what manners are. Like, you don't, like, just doing that in the face of a girl, that would even, like, for a question like that wouldn't even go through my mind. Like, bro said, because other men would be, facts. They only got chat for people that are smaller guys, maybe weaker guys. They know they don't fight. Like, yeah, man, it's a bit sad. But I'm not gonna lie, people like that, you always find something to put you in place. I can't lie. Eventually,
massive controversy. You see, the church, its leadership, and its founder, Robert Morris, were all facing lawsuits with massive implications. Back in 2021, a church member who donated substantial sums from 1993 to 2015, James Huntsman, sued the church for $5 million, alleging that the tithes collected by the church were used to build the City Mall Center, a shopping mall in Salt Lake City. He claimed that the church was dishonest about how it was allocating its funds. And by the way, there's a lot of that in the Church of Latter-day Saints. A lot of, in spite of all the charity stuff they do, the missions and everything, blah, 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 blah. This is like a big problem with
consumerism. It's like one of the 10 commandments, right? You must consume. Of course, they're going to build them all
the different branches of church. Okay, guys. Maybe not so much with the Catholic Church nowadays, but back in the 50s and the 60s and shit, when it was just the mob, yeah, it was pretty bad. Anyways, this church fought back by essentially arguing that the First Amendment protected church activity and that it was free from state interference in matters of church government. So to them, courts couldn't resolve disagreements without posing a grave threat to the autonomy of a religious organization, which seems like a very convenient way around.
It sounds like Big Pharma for flip's sake, I ain't got no more space. Sounds like Big Pharma telling you that you can't sue them for damage. It's like, no. If it works, it's us. But if it don't work, don't come to us.
Having any accountability, I guess. And believe it or not, this worked out for them quite well. Huntsman's lawsuit was ultimately dismissed earlier this year, but it did open a can of stinky hide-it.
In the end, oh my days, I'm running out of memory. Let me just quit this one. How much stuff do I have on there?
Disgusting freakazoids. In 2024, multiple class action lawsuits were filed against Gateway Church, with one alleging that the church leaders had lied for decades about using member tithing donations solely for charity.
Alright, this is a joke, right? We're done. I just cleared some space the other day.
Causes. And instead, they allege that the cash was thrown into Ensign Peak Advisors, their investment firm, which My Lord, that is unbelievable. Where'd this money come from? You can't even get a mortgage with unseasoned funds that just haven't existed in the financial system for a long period of time, but you're allowed investment firms will take church money? Why would they do that? Why is that a thing? I don't know. Maybe that's why there's a lawsuit. Maybe. The other lawsuit claims that the church, which had reportedly promised that 15% of the money given to the church would be spent on missions, allocated less than $3 million annually for missions instead of the over $15 million it should have spent if it kept that promise. We just didn't have enough missions to go on, guys. We're not SEAL Team 6. We're just a church. We're just a church. This isn't Red Cell. I'm not Richard Marchenko. All right? I didn't have a Bethesda video game called Rogue Warrior made after me. All right? I'm just a little tiny baby church that makes a lot of money. We don't know where to spend the money, so we give it to the investment firm, and then they make us really rich. And then we're all going to go to hell. Aww. Founder and former head pastor Robert Morris has the head in which the people hypothetically want to see roll. Robert Morris faces his own legal battle, which has led to the church's image falling apart. Back in June 2024, he resigned as pastor following allegations of sexual abuse of a 12-year-old girl back in the 1980s. This is the guy that was the former spiritual advisor to the President of America. All right, guys, President of America. Okay. As a result of the allegations, the church was hit hard, and by November 2024, donations had fallen by up to 40%, and attendance had likewise fallen.
It should have fell by 95%.
Church elders, leading to staff cuts. Robert Morris victim Cindy and her father filed a lawsuit against Morris, his wife, and Gateway Church, alleging that they knew about Robert's crimes, hid it, and made millions of dollars from his moral failures and of the plaintiff, Cindy. The church claimed they knew about an extramarital affair Morris had committed, but not the age of the person the affair had taken place with. And since the church had successfully gotten the lawsuit from James Huntsman dismissed, they tried a similar tactic here, and they asked the case to be dismissed, claiming that once again the courts have no right to intervene in church matters. Bill Matea, Robert Morris' attorney, said the doctrine is all about protecting the First Amendment and that the courts and the government shouldn't get into the affairs of the church. So that's why I think fundamentally it's a major constitutional issue. I don't think that that's a major constitutional issue. I've read the Constitution. Sure, it does say that it's AI generated whenever I run it through this is this AI tool, okay, guys? But still, I think that they may have been onto something here about with the whole, separation of church and state thing. And that maybe criminal matters are not a matter of the church. The law is not a matter of the church.
Right.
Church law, I don't know. Maybe I got a different constitution than them too. Probably. On October 2nd this year, Morris
Boy, this guy's
to
hilarious.
child sex abuse charges, but he thinks that he's the victim in some ways. Morris went after Gateway Church after leaving, claiming he was being denied his retirement benefits from a church.
In a demand for arbitration, 63-year-old Robert Morris.
I thought he was chatting about his job, retirement benefits from a job. Oh my goodness, man. What is going on? And then the separation between state and church. And then you use it as an excuse to say that the court has no business questioning the church. Maybe that whole separation needs to go. Because it just implies that church can do criminal things. What? I'm sure you sure can. You're a human. What is going on? It's not moving like it's Versailles with Louis the 14th, the Sun King. What the flip?
Claims Gateway elders made a verbal commitment to him.
But even if you get rid of that separation, you need to make sure the government is in check, because if it's the government of right now, they will not put their man in check. Even if they have the right to, they will not do it because they're all friends. They go to the same churches, bruv.
That he would receive $800,000 a year until he reached the age of 70, and then
Naz, are you awake? Naz. Nazi Wazi. Naz? Chap was probably involved. It's spiritual advisor. What was he advising you on?
$600,000 a year thereafter, with payments continuing to go to his wife Debbie after his death.
Are you kidding?
And then he was best
He even
friend.
threatened the board, saying that if he didn't start getting
And then he was best friends with my man. Name ends in Steen.
After, with payments continuing to go to his wife Debbie after his death.
Are you kidding me, dude? He even threatened the board, saying that if he didn't start getting his money, he would be forced to make clear that he was transparent with the board about his earlier relationship.
So funny, just came up. You know when they did that whole PR campaign? Oh my gosh. This world, man. I'm not gonna lie, when you peep shit, it's actually funny. It's depressing when you kinda lost in all this thing. But when you can peep things, it's actually hilarious. They did a whole PR thing to say that they were releasing the files, the Steen files, because my man Trump said he would, when he was doing his campaign, he was like, this is a priority. They did a whole campaign. We're gonna invite social media influencers, and then they gave them a brief this thick, and they were all on TikTok like, oh, President Trump just released the files, and this is what was said. As we can see, he's not in the files. Blah 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 blah. This is what we say. Nothing else to see here. Nothing more to see. That's it. He invented Bitcoin. Oh my god. Holy. Now, when you mentioned that whole file thing, you didn't see this. Oh my days, they did a whole PR campaign earlier this year. I think it was March, it was early in the year. They invited all these influencers to come get the files from the president himself, and then it was going to be released to the public. Like, we're going to be transparent. We're so transparent, we're going to give it to social media influencers, and then they're going to relay the information to you. And that's it. Utterly insane. So it was in February, I said March, February 2025, a group of conservative and right-wing social media influencers were invited to the White House and given binders labeled the Epstein Files Phase 1, and there was meant to be different phases as well or whatnot. The content released by then Attorney General Pam Bondi, largely contained information that was already in the public domain and included no new revelations, leading to widespread disappointment and criticism from the influencers themselves and other MAGA supporters. They tried to get ahead of it, but people aren't stupid. Like, some of the influencers, they were trying to defend it, and I'm guessing some of them, they were like, they called it out, but I think most of them were actually honored to receive the binders straight from the president's files desk. I can't believe you did not see this. It was cinema. Absolute cinema. Absolute cinema. They're all standing in front of the White House with the binders, all these TikTokers, YouTubers. Absolute BS. One last one. Always smiling for the cameras and shit. These people, man. I can't believe this. This is why also a lot of the manga is turning against my man. Because they're clocking bit by bit. They're like, wait, hold on, we getting taken for idiots. Taken for mad idiots. My man gave us a fake binder. He said he wasn't in there. His name was in there. They're losing it. My goodness. He said tariff would help us. Now prices are rising. For a while, they were like, oh no, just give it time. Give it time. His plan is going to work. The tariffs are going to work. My goodness. They need more imports than they have exports. Maybe tariffs would work if the people needed American goods. We don't need American goods. We don't need them. We buy them, but we don't need them. So, since they rely more on imports, it's actually affecting the other way around. Their own business people have to pay more tax to import products because of these stupid tariffs. And it reflects in the prices, it reflects in everything. Because if they don't, then the person that's ordering it is making less money. They're not trying to do that. Imagine UK did that with... That's what I'm saying, Angie. It's just pure. It's just dumb because it's a tariff. Tariffs are not bad, but when applied the wrong way, it's stupid. Like if China put tariffs, I think that would probably benefit them a lot because they have so many exports and people rely on those. But if the UK did that, bro, like we're done. We're done. It's already so expensive. You'll buy like you'll buy like a loaf of bread. How much do I pay that right now? £2. £2. You probably paid that like £5. £5 a loaf of bread. We can't survive on Aston Martins and Wimbledon. Sorry. And tourism for our Christmas lights. Great. Wireless. That's what we're gonna survive on. Cider. Oh my days. Yeah, not gonna lie. If anyone did that here, that would be I don't think they would be that stupid. Did you see the new budget? I don't even want to get into that. Rachel Reeves' new budget, bro. This lady, she said that we will not be borrowing more money. So we have to raise tax. Did she not raise tax and we'll be borrowing? She's gonna raise tax and borrow more money. But whatever. If we could export that, that would probably be... Nah, do not start me on that. Oh my gosh. I don't think people are ever voting Labour again. I think for a good 10, 15, 20 years, I don't think Labour can win again. I mean, how? If they do, it's rigged. If they do, it's rigged. I'm sorry. There's no way. Everything that they could have flopped, they flopped it. I'm voting Greens. Greens are looking decent. I just need to... Obviously, we're a bit far away from election. I'm gonna have to read their whole... Shit, I'm forgetting what it is. I'm forgetting the word for it.
Cindy, that is crazy. So
I'm gonna have to check the whatever reforms they want to do. Manifesto, yep, thank you. And I was looking at the. I'm not gonna lie. The last elections, I think I was reading the manifestos. Yeah, I think I read the Tory one, the Labour one, and the Reform one. I'm not gonna lie. I know Reform is lying, but the lies were better on that one. Because I was reading the other ones, I was like, wait, hold on. How are they gonna do? Like, I'm not gonna lie though. The one thing, the one thing that the Reform manifesto, I was like, yeah, what the flip is going on here? hopping out of the, what is it? Human rights. I was like, wait, what? I'm not gonna lie, I was just looking at the tax thing. I was like, oh, businesses, like, you'll be able to make, like, I think it was at 20k before you get taxed, instead of, I think it's 12k per year. I was like, yeah, that is interesting. And then right at the bottom, I'm seeing hopping out of the EU human rights thing. I was like, I don't even have a UK passport yet. Yeah, if they fully lost me there. Fully lost me there.
Saying that if he didn't start.
And even the explanation is like, it only makes sense if those are like the best people on earth. Like, you're like, okay, I follow, but you're saying you, Nigel Farage, and your party are gonna do this. So you will be responsible for establishing what human rights are. Okay. Interesting. What? Yo. Cause I'm not. Imagine if you have one of the best leaders on earth. There could be an argument for that. Okay, since we left the EU, okay, we're taking our destiny. To be honest, since Brexit, they already flopped everything. So who's gonna believe them at this point? Any party. But let's just assume it's just the perfect candidate. Some people could probably get behind that. Especially if you're someone that's already delivered and it's their second time running, and then they're telling you this. I might believe it. Just to see what they do. But this one, like, it just sounds like they're sweet talking you, and the minute the human rights are out the window, purge. Now it's Hunger Games. Like, I don't know, I could just smell it. I'm like, okay. Right. Okay. And then at the same time, they're gonna cost countries like flipping Burkina Faso and Niger and things like that, and say they're backwards or that. And then you're like, hold on a minute. Right.
Getting his money.
You know, like Syrian people are this, Afghanistan this, but you get rid of human rights. Okay, so the thing that's meant to make you more morally correct as a society, you're just like, oh yeah, we can just do without that. I said they don't even listen to themselves. I'll be real.
He would be forced to make clear that he was transparent with the board about his earlier relationship with Miss Cindy. That is crazy.
Hold on, what just happened
a year thereafter, with payments continuing to go to his wife Debbie.
Right, so he needs them, innit? Like,
after his death.
Are you kidding me, dude?
And do you know what the worst thing is? They haven't even got the alternative ready. So it was the same thing with Brexit. on paper, you got the best leader on earth. Why not? But once your plan goes through, you don't even have the alternative to make sure it's sustainable. What are we talking about? You're mad at the EU Commission for what they've written, but you can't even write better. You haven't even tried. You're mad at this and that, because they take too much of the money and too much migrants or whatnot. You want to leave the EU, but you have no alternative deals tucked in your sleeve or something that you was preparing. Big announcement. What? Like it's not making no sense unless that's their goal, to just flop everything. If the goal is to just flop everything, they're actually doing perfectly right. If the goal is to fail and they get a promotion after, so every time you fail, you get into government to fail and then you get a better job after, they're doing great. But other than that, goodness gracious. Like, it's like idiocracy, yeah. Idiocracy is the exact same thing. Like, it makes absolutely no sense.
His wife Debbie.
Because even if Brexit was to be, like, people have divergent opinions in it, but it didn't have to be a massive flop. Like, it actually didn't have to. The fact that it wasn't prepared, and then they were rejecting all the EU deals, and then they were proposing stupid deals, and like, it was just like, bro, like. And then the other one wants to sell the NHS to Big Pharma. It's like, what are we doing? Those are not plans. Those are just like, when you have no knowledge of what you're doing, and then you're learning on a job. So you're doing things, and then you're reacting to the consequences. That's basically how I'm seeing it. It's like, instead of like preparing for what they're saying is their plan, they do something, it busts through, cuts through, and then they're like, fuck. Like, you know what, we just ride this wave for now and see where it goes. And then when it just fucks up, is like, I bet. It's a crisis. We need to up taxes. We need to get rid of these people. We need to do this. Still don't work. They're like, bet. And poor people are not paying their fair share. Poor people are definitely not working enough. The retiring age is actually wrong. You know what? Pensions are too much. Holy, you could do a whole series about this stuff. It's so ridiculous.
After his death.
Are you kidding me, dude? He even threatened the board, saying that if he didn't start getting his money, he would be forced to make clear that he was transparent with the board about his earlier relationship with Miss Cindy. That is crazy.
So he was saying, if I don't get my retirement money, I will snitch on my own church and say that they all knew, because I told them that I was with that. Wow.
Church leader, which had previously said they knew there was an affair and then didn't know about anything else, especially not the age of the mistress, seemed to change their story, and current church leaders then said that 4 former church leaders were aware of details of Morris' abuse of Cindy. Under Morris' plea agreement, he received a 10-year suspended sentence where he'll serve the first 6 months in Osage County Jail.
Those are the same people that are gonna get online and curse another religion, say that the people that believe in marrying little youths. The same people that are doing this thing, that they're gonna be like, oh, these lot over there, they believe in this. The 4 people, at least 4 in the congregation, they knew. Not even in the congregation, so and on the board. The people that run in the show, they know that my man is with a 12. Oh my God.
And after that, he'll spend the remaining 9.5 years of his sentence under probation and will register as a sex offender. Are you
9 years.
kidding me? Dude?
1 year.
It's what?
1 year, and then
There's people who go to jail for nothing, and this guy's going to be able to spend 9.5 years
at
on
home.
probation. All he has to do is knock on people's doors and say, "I'm a pedophile." That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. Are you kidding me? What a failure! What a failure of government and justice. So,
About 20 minutes.
it is understandable that many people may be upset hearing that the man who abused a 12-year-old while in his 20s is
we
only going to be
love the TikTok shop, educational purposes only. This is a YouTube video.
behind bars for 6 months, and then also basically blackmail the church into giving him $800,000 a year. Somehow, churches are giving people almost $1 million a year who aren't Jesus or whatever, prophets. I'm not sure what's going on. But in spite of what any of us might think,
I'm in
his
the wrong
victim,
business.
Cindy, has expressed that she believes justice was in
Academia only. Yeah, I'm missing something here. I'm in the wrong business though. What? These people can just pay someone almost $1 million a year, and he's a PDF. And business is running as usual.
fact served, which is that's the
Never
most
mind.
important thing,
Oh.
obviously. After all of
Yeah, I
this,
missed that
Gateway
one.
Church is facing significant public scrutiny, and while the class action regarding the church's failure to deliver on its promise of 15% of donations going to global missions is still ongoing, the Trinity Foundation warned that there is little hope of prosecuting church leaders for financial fraud, because it's just it's a First Amendment thing, all right? That's what the founding fathers intended. They didn't want there to be more capitalists. They weren't warning us about foreign influence. They didn't care about any of this stuff that's going on right now. They literally wrote the Constitution so people could exploit the church.
I'm the same as you. I mean, I don't have it now, but I believe that's what I would do. It's easy to speak as if you were there, yeah, but honestly, I believe yes, because I like nice things, but I don't need all that. Honestly, I wouldn't need all that. Because you get, me personally anyway, I don't know about these people, you get more joy actually helping others. So if you had the means,
and make a lot of money off God. That was their intention, okay? They stated back on Halloween in 2024 that there's simply not enough precedent-setting court decisions criminalizing various forms of religious fraud, and they outline the reluctance shown by the DOJ and FBI in investigating church leaders, along with investigating pedophiles. They don't like investigating anybody who's evil and wrong. It seems like. Not even themselves, but they cite televangelists often falsely promising supernatural blessings to donors that give money, and how these preachers are never charged with fraud for lying to their followers when those promises aren't actualized. My hope is that we see a bit of a change to that lack of court precedent, because in January of this year, the Justice Department did put out a press release announcing the indictment of Francier Obando Penilo, a former Tri-Cities pastor, for a multi-million-dollar crypto scam where he targeted members of his congregation and turned it into a pyramid scheme by convincing investors to recruit other investors. Oh my God. Yeah, beware of crypto, by the way. Crypto is full of scams, and we can absolutely trust the deal.
a crypto scam inside a church. My goodness. Gosh.
DOJ and the American government to crack down on those scams. And if you want a really reputable crypto to invest in,
Lord, God forbid I get a little £500 on my account that they don't know where it's coming from. Now they want to ask me all sorts of questions. Where's that money from? In the meantime, You have these people. They don't even want to investigate them. Right? Oh, there's nothing to see here. Obviously, they catch the big fish, but they don't catch all of them. Just to say that they're working. There's probably many others doing that. I mean, while they're in a church doing cryptos, boy, let the man them do that. Man them get 20 years each, fam. 20 years, 30 years each. What?
And to look up Trump coin or Melania coin. Those two are extremely reputable. Peniela was released while awaiting trial, but he was jailed after violating the terms of his release by reaching out to a victim of the fraud case, asking for a further $200,000 to hire a lawyer, which was viewed as witness tampering. His trial is in March of 2026, so we'll see. Maybe this will set a precedent for religious fraud, at least religious crypto fraud. There's another case that could also help shape court precedents, and it is another crypto scamming pastor, Eli and Caitlin Regalado. They went viral when Eli, the crypto pastor, diverted $1.3 million from investors in his index coin towards a home remodel the Lord told them to do, guys. Oh, that's the fourth of the trilemma. I didn't realize that. It's either Jesus is Lord, liar, or lunatic, or he's a general contractor, and he's going to tell me to build my house with people's money. All right. They targeted Christian communities in Denver and used the money to live a lavish life while skiing with yachts.
I don't think they understood what was said in the Bible when they said he was a carpenter. I don't think they understood that part when they said that Jesus was a carpenter. He didn't say you take people's money and you build buildings. That is not what was meant to be learned from that. Oh,
trips, designer clothes. They even bought a Range Rover. The funds were marketed as low-risk, high-reward investments to its victims. How the f are people still falling for that concept? I have no idea. It's just not a thing. Those two, it doesn't work like that. But Eli and Caitlin are facing 40 counts, and Eli has priors. He's previously served time car theft. Guy's a free piece of shit. So in a perfect world, we may see these false prophets jailed for stealing from their congregation, and this will set a precedent that can be used against other financial fraudsters and against further forms of dishonesty in institutions that lie to their followers and use the funds generated from donations for selfish desires, or at least, you know, be upfront about it. Just be like, we're a church. I'm very corrupt. This is not about, it's a cult, it's more of a cult. If you guys think I'm chill with it, donate to me. It doesn't go to the Lord. It doesn't go to anything. It goes to me. But, like, it's fun, though. But it's, like, kind of chill because I get to live a really good life, and I'm going to make you guys feel better I'm going to be there for you, and we're going to put on big shows, and we're going to talk about conspiracies. I might start my own church. Might write my own Bible. The other one, the one I have, apparently is not like anybody else's, and also, it's hard to read, dude. Hard to read. And those aren't even mega churches. Penilo's church, Ministerio Apostolico Profetico Tiempos de Poder. It's a Spanish language church in Pasco, Washington. And it was in a strip mall, and Eli Regalado's Victorious Grace Church was an online only church. There are multiple instances where the leaders of mega churches have gone to federal prison over fraud. So let's hope that continues. Never heard anybody with this name, so I apologize if I'm not saying it correctly, but because there's no way it's real. Kirby John Caldwell is known for being the senior pastor at Windsor Village United Methodist Church, which is an institution with 16,000 members in its congregation in the Houston area. This man also offered spiritual guidance to both George W. Bush as well as Barack Obama. Kirby John, kind of a legend. But in January 2021, Caldwell was sentenced to 6 years in federal prison for a scheme running from 2013 to 2014 in which he and another defendant sold worthless bonds from the Republic of China issued before 1949 for $3.5 million. They defrauded 29 investors who were not informed of the bonds.
Someone's inviting me. 2 million followers.
The memorabilia market, since the bonds aren't recognized by the current Chinese government. By this logic, my grandfather brought home some war trophies from World War II, and I'm a billionaire. Okay, guys, if the Fourth Reich ever comes back, I'll be rich. Caldwell used $900,000 he received to pay down various debts he was facing. Personal loans, mortgages, credit cards. Initially, Caldwell maintained his innocence, even addressing the case to his congregation by saying, "I didn't do it." He said that with his attorney during an Easter service. He didn't actually say, "I didn't do it." But he did address the.
I think I may upload this on YouTube.
He apologized and paid full restitution, but the crime had been committed, and he'd be going to prison. Requies a tu pace, dickweed. Somehow the church stood by Caldwell's side. He continued preaching, and when he eventually pled guilty and went to prison, his wife took over as the senior pastor. And when Kirby John got an early release, the church celebrated. The church's Facebook page went awry. The church's Facebook page posted a message from Kirby John sharing that he was home under confinement but would see them soon, which is, I mean, crazy. Kirby John maintains that he didn't knowingly defraud anybody, and he believed the bonds to be good and quite valuable, despite his history on Wall Street, and it seems that's enough for the church. And judging from interviews this year, he's back preaching, but one Sunday at a time. Okay, guys. So Kirby John's congregation seemed to forgive him. Let's take Bishop Lamore Whitehead, a pastor with over 1 million followers on Instagram who enjoys the finer things in life.
My cousin used to follow one of them pastors. I hope she doesn't follow them anymore. Like 2 million followers and that.
Pretty cool. He reminds me of Bob Dolan.
All they do is shows and
all white furniture. He's kind of got that sort of Trump thing going on. Grand piano, crystal chandelier, white gold podcast spaces, yet a Rolls Royce. Very Christian. This dope ass aesthetic has led to this motherfucker being dubbed the Bling Bishop, which is
9
so
years in
awesome.
prison.
But
That's
more was more
more
than just worship and wealth, however. He also seemed to do good deeds. In 2022, it was claimed that he helped negotiate the surrender of an armed murderer who had killed an employee of Goldman Sachs in a subway attack. He was planning on hand-delivering the suspect to his pal, Mayor Eric Adams, with whom Lamar had a close relationship.
I saw he got done for fraud, the mayor.
A high-profile life with influential friends and plenty of his own luxuries as well.
I saw the mayor got done for fraud as well.
Was flaunting his lifestyle attracted unwanted attention, which was captured on live stream services from Whitehead's church. He was robbed at gunpoint while delivering a sermon to his congregation and to viewers of his live stream. It said the
Probably someone's cousin.
$1 million worth of jewelry taken from him and his wife, which is a lot of
Good.
wealth for
Sorry.
a servant of the Lord to be wearing during a sermon, but I guess it makes sense because he's the motherfucking Bling Bishop and shit. In another confrontation caught on live stream, our Bling Bishop grabbed a woman by the back of her hair and shoves her off screen after an argument with her. He claims that she was going for his wife and child, but she claims that that was not the case. And on the video, you can clearly see that she was the one.
Same type of man, them,
The
innit?
Bling Bishop was not
The same type of man.
The situation was handled by law enforcement since he was also taken
So
to the
quick to
station.
do them
He claimed
things there,
that he was
fam.
treated like a criminal.
I was treated like a criminal. So I went from the pulpit to
This is a pastor.
no reason.
Get this. The man that wears $1 million of jewelry to preach a sermon happens to have a criminal past. Reporting from 2016 revealed that he had been previously charged with 10 counts of identity theft and using the names of victims in scams that raked in at least $2 million. He rode around in a stolen Land Rover wearing a pimp-style red and white waist-length mink jacket, and a search of his house found a stolen 9mm handgun and a bulletproof vest. Apparently, he claimed he was in the music industry, but that was also suspected to be a scam. He served a 5-year sentence before being released in 2013, and
This guy doesn't know who he
that
is.
would put this man on the path of righteousness. Correct? He changed his ways behind bars. Christianity is all about grace and forgiveness and surrender. It's about weakness being a strength, perceived weakness being a strength, not objective weakness, of course. So surely the man had changed his ways. Well, we know that he went on to become the Bling Bishop and enjoyed the luxuries of a rich lifestyle, but where did those riches come from, guys? Turns out you can just kind of make stuff up. The Bling Bishop had used doctored bank statements to make it appear as though he had millions of dollars in the bank and hundreds of thousands of dollars in monthly revenue to apply for loans. He stole millions of dollars through this scheme, likely used to sustain his lavish lifestyle, and it wasn't just the loaners that he stole from. He convinced one of his own parishioners to invest her retirement savings of $90,000 with him, promising that he'd use the money to help buy her a home.
These people are the
Instead,
devil.
what do you think he spent it on? luxury goods, most likely. He also extorted a businessman for $5,000, then further trying to convince the same individual to lend him $500,000 and give him a stake in real estate transactions. And in exchange, the bling bishop promised he could get Mayor Eric Adams to take favorable actions in regard to the transactions, which is a promise that Whitehead knew he could not follow through on because that would be horrible corruption, and we know Eric Adams is not corrupt. Whitehead also lied to law enforcement when they executed a search warrant on his home, saying that he only had one cell phone when a second phone was found inside the house. He also reportedly continued his dishonesty when he lied to the court at his trial, which is perjury. So yeah, more convictions, more theories, more financial corruptions within megachurches, especially the prosperity preachers. They're just sociopaths. They're freakazoids. This shit has been happening for so long that the suspicions are warranted. Robert Tilton was a massive televangelist preacher back in the 1970s through the mid-1990s. His church, the Word of Faith Family Church in Dallas, Texas, had 8,000
How
members,
do people
which made him
trust
seem
these people?
as quite
I
humble
don't
in
understand.
numbers now, but at the time, he was called the Pastor of America. He would purchase as many as 5,000 hours of airtime monthly for television, reaching all 235 markets, and the church grew to a staff of over 800 people, roughly one employee for every 10 members, though many of them were just hired to answer phones and to take names and addresses around the clock. These staff were essentially curating a mailing list of potential donors to reach out to. There were millions of potential donors, and oftentimes Tilton would read names of donators live, thanking them for contributions like a Twitch streamer.
Here's Sharon, $1,000. Here's a 500 from Dorothy. Thank you, Dorothy, in Jesus' name. You're helping me.
This guy was streamers before the streamers. My goodness. They were even doing that before the streamers, guys.
It's the original Begathon.
Pay Jesus' bills first, and he'll pay your bills, Peter.
Very simple, very effective grift. Do you want Jesus to bless your life and your bank account? Then you need to prove that you deserve it. Give what little you have. It's only $5, and you'll receive abundance because you'll have Robert Tilton to tell the Lord to pay your mother bills. The Tilton requests weren't the typical tithings that you could expect to receive a request for when, sitting in on a congregation. Tilton called them vows. If you want your miracle, you need to make a vow of faith in the amount of $1,000 and mail it directly to this goober.
This is what God just spoke to me. He said, Bob, I have spoken to 25 people to vow $1,000. I'm going to give them the money, but I'm going to give them more than that. I'm going to give them the desire of their heart.
Or to the church that he controls the finances of. The vow request would sometimes even reach $10,000. And if you did that, he'd send you one of his tithes. So f***ing worth it. He may have received on some days as many as 10,000 letters a business day, amounting to up to 80 to even 100 million potentially annually being pulled in by his ministry. That is so crazy, because that's the 70s and the 90s, dude. That's a lot of money back then, bud. A lot of letters, letter after letter with $1,000. People sent these in because they were desperate for miracles. Not only that, but he seemed to perform miracles on television. Why not send your money to guarantee your miracle?
Working a supernatural miracle in the, praise God, now there's the anointing flowing again, all the way. Jesus' name. Better? Better. About how much better? A lot better.
But then, of course, it all fell apart. Apparently, tons of the letters people were sending in to Robert Tilton and his church were just found in the trash behind a building that the church operated.
These are prayers that we found in the trash. Bundles, thousands of prayers. Of the people's sincere prayers that they sent in, they just took the money out and ran.
Not figurative tons, but 15 tons were found over the course of a month and a half by people keeping a close eye on the location once they discovered what was happening. 15 tons of letters with prayer requests for Tilton. They were just thrown out, but obviously all the money was taken out of them.
During a month-and-a-half period, he and others found 15 tons of these prayer requests in the garbage behind a building involved in Tilton's operation.
It wasn't just money. It was checks, money orders, cash, food stamps, even wedding rings. Anything valuable was removed, and the requested prayers were just tossed in the trash. What else are you supposed to do? All right, poor old Tilton's gonna have to build a big old shredder for God for all that stuff. I'm going to read it. I'm going to send it up. Big ups, okay, to Jesus. I'm going to read it, send it up, okay, for Jesus. I'm getting tired of all this shit, man. What the fuck? In response, Tilton and lawyers claimed the discarded letters had been stolen by enemies of the church and planted in the trash to make them look bad, but the damage was done, and the pristine image that had been curated was shattered instantaneously, because that is a dog shit excuse. And lawsuits were about to keep Tilton's attorneys very busy. Mary Turk is a woman that had avoided seeking medical treatment for colon cancer because of Tilton's preaching.
One of those suing is a Dallas woman said to be dying of cancer. She will claim she was so swayed by Tilton's promises of a miracle, she stopped her medical treatment.
She believed that using her money for treatment would be a breach of faith in God, and instead sent the money to Tilton, who would use her vow of faith for a miracle to cure herself. One lawsuit saw Tilton owing the plaintiff $1.5 million in varying forms of damages as found by a jury, but when Tilton appealed, it was overturned. Less than 2 years later, Tilton's show was canceled after losing 85% of its audience, and donations were likewise plummeting. But Tilton was never formally charged with any form of fraud. How unbelievable is that? I guess it's really hard to prove whether or not prayers were being answered. Nowadays, Robert Tilton is still preaching, but now to a YouTube live stream to 600 subscribers, or to his other YouTube channel with 1,200 subscribers, or
My goodness.
to his dog shit Facebook page. Once the illusion shattered, he never recaptured the hearts of the public, and he has quite literally fallen far from grace. Though he still believes himself to be a messenger of God.
Favorite, you should be sleeping.
The focus of this video has been on the shadiness and controversy surrounding the finances of megachurches and how many other controversies follow the use of these finances. The truth is that we know very little about how churches use their money, and that's because unlike any other nonprofit in America, churches are explicitly exempt from filing an IRS Form 990. And that's not just the Christian church, that's any religious organization. That includes Scientology, that include anything, all of them. Form 990s are the annual information return that details revenue, expenses, and compensation of an organization's highest paid employees. The church's exemption from this form stems from the Tax Reform Act of 1969, and while churches are encouraged to make available to the public a complete audited annual report of income and expenditures, they are not required to. The only time a church's finances would be laid bare would be in the event of an audit. But the Tax Reform Act even outlines that churches should be protected from unnecessary audits unless it's determined that the church owes a tax, which is unlikely to happen because they're tax exempt by default. And an audit would require direct sign-off by the IRS Director of Exempt Organizations, and it's so rare and just doesn't happen that the Foundation Group, an organization with experts in nonprofits, tax compliance, and bookkeeping, say you're more likely to see a UFO than a church audit, which UFOs are becoming more and more likely, so maybe, who knows. This means that churches can raise and spend billions of dollars with essentially no government or restrictive oversight unless audited, which doesn't happen. They're not required to disclose total revenue, staff salaries, asset holdings, anything, how donations are spent, or compensation packages, for example, to sexual offender, pedophile, previous spiritual advisors to people like Donald Trump. That guy Morris. So if you look up something like James River Church on ProPublica's Nonprofit Explorer or Lakewood Church on the same site, there's just no information to view. And according to the 2016 Leadership Network Large Church Salary Study, 81% of megachurches keep specific salary information secret. It is limited to board members, subcommittees, or senior staff. Congregants must demand to see figures, and many churches refuse even with these requests, which is alarming since it's estimated that 98% of a church's budget comes from the congregation and half of the budget goes to staff salaries alone. That's on average. The budget differences between large churches and small ones vary wildly, but Tithely broke down the rough averages for where church budgets go. That's 50% to staff salaries, 30% goes to facility costs, and 10% goes towards savings and emergency funds. Then the final 10% goes to missions and charity, which is a minuscule amount for outreach and benevolence. That's the average, 10%. Which makes it so much more disappointing when it's reported that Lakewood Church only gave 1.3% of its budget to charity in 2017, or is telling a prospective mother of a starving baby that she needs to apply for their benevolence program, something that James River Church also has on their website. Lakewood and these other churches still do a lot of good, and many work with food banks and shelters with church volunteers acting as volunteers at these places too, or providing funding and researches, but it isn't the churches, it's the people. That's what the whole thing is. The Church of Christ, for Christianity specifically, that's what it's about. It's about the people. That's the congregation. That's the At least what I thought, at least my Bible that I've been reading, which is way different than everybody else's. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed, press the like button down below. If I made you mad, go for yourself. If you want to see more behind the scenes